everybody! Today I want to teach you conjunctions and connectors. In English, this topic has a wide range of usages, and there are many conjunctions and connectors, but we should categorize them and we should group them so as to learn better and more easily. So today I'm going to give you some conjunctions and connectors in order to explain contrast. In English and in your own language, contrast means there is a situation or there is a condition or position, something happened or is happening, and related to this sentence, you expect something, but in the end, it doesn't happen. This contrast can be defined if you want to see something or some result. If you expect something, so you are expecting it should happen, but it doesn't happen. It happens oppositely. Let's make an example, so after this definition you will understand better, but as logic, something happens, in the end you expect something, but it happens oppositely. For example, you studied all night. So under normal circumstances, you expect, you suppose, you think, if this happens, you studied all night, what is your expectation? You need to pass. You pass your exam, so you become successful. But something happens and the result doesn't occur in this way. I studied all night, so I passed, you think. But I studied all night. What is the opposite? What happened in the end? You didn't pass. So this is a contrast. Let's see, and you will see better. I studied all night. Okay, so this is the condition, this is the situation, this is the thing that you did. But you say, I didn't pass. So there is a contrast, something wrong here. Normally, the result shouldn't be like this. But you want to express, you want to emphasize a contrast idea. So in this position, to make contrast, you put here something. So if you put here although in the beginning of sentence, so you say totally different ideas. This is the situation. I studied. Although I studied, so you see here an opposite situation, opposite idea, opposite opinion, opposite condition. This is not the natural result. So normally, after you studied a lot, you expect other thing. You want to pass. So because naturally you should pass, but something happens, so a contrast occurs. Although I studied all night, so unfortunately at the moment you are unhappy because you didn't pass your exam. Although makes and creates contrast, and you can combine two different opposite ideas. by using although. As well as although, you can also use these conjunctions, although or though, or sometimes even though, to make emphasize. Although, though, even though, all the time they are used to give contrast meaning. For example, we had a wonderful match and you say it rained. For example, yesterday you were in the football field and unfortunately it rained a lot. So in this case, normally, under normal circumstances, we can't have a match. If it is raining, we should be inside. But there is a contrast. There is a very interesting result. We had a wonderful match. So we can say, although it rained, we had a wonderful match. So this surprises us because normally when it rains, people think, or normally most people think, we should be inside. We shouldn't be outside. We shouldn't play football match. But this is a contrast and interesting and surprising result. Although it rained, we didn't care about it. We had a wonderful match. So in this sentence, you can clearly, there is a contrast meaning. Although, though, or even though are possible to use. Sometimes we can have some other alternatives to use in order to give same meaning. What are they? The number one, in spite of. In spite of also can be used instead of although. Or, one more, number two, despite. While using despite, you should be careful about we never think, we never use, we never say, we never write, because there is no despite of English. In spite of or only despite. Let's see how we use. Although it rained, we had a match, wonderful match. Instead of although, how can we use it? When we use one of them, doesn't matter. Let's choose in spite of. When we use in spite of, we can't use a full sentence now. In although, we can use, but in spite of structure, we can't say in spite of it rained. We can say gerund or a noun. So, how can we get it? After in spite of, when we see our verb, our full sentence, we can make it a noun or gerund form. Let's see. In spite of raining, or only rain, because rain is a noun also, or rain. So we put our comma. In spite of raining, we had a wonderful match. We can say wonderful match. So in spite of rain, also possible. In spite of raining, I mean after despite and in spite of, we must convert our structure. We can't make he, she, it, they, or Jack, or we. We don't say subject and verb. Although, even though, and though should be used with a full sentence, but in spite of and despite should be used with a gerund or noun. So this is the rule, but the meaning is totally same. Sometimes, especially while writing and essays and paragraphs, we can also use in spite of the fact that or despite the fact that. In spite of the fact that, so from here you can understand after this structure you can use a full sentence. So they are totally same with although. Despite the fact that, again no of. Despite the fact that, totally same. So instead of although you can say. So in spite of also can be used in a sentence, but you must add the fact that. Let's see with an example. In spite of the fact that English is the most common language in the world, many people still don't give or pay enough attention to learn it. So you can see, for example, there is an essay topic or you want to make a really rich sentence. In spite of the fact that, instead of although, in spite of the fact that English is the most common language in the world. So when I see here, okay, English is the most common language in the world. So what I expect? Everybody should learn. So people should learn, people should know. But what is the interesting result? What happens as contrast? Many people still don't give or pay enough attention. They don't learn very interestingly. And this is a positive information. English is the most common language. It is a good thing. So people should learn. But what happens? In spite of the fact that English is the most common language in the world, interesting result. Many people still don't learn it. So they don't give attention. So this is a contrast idea. In spite of the fact that also can be changed with despite the fact that. There is no difference. In English, while using conjunctions in order to make and in order to give contrast meaning, although, even though can be used. In spite of the fact that, despite the fact that can be used with a sentence. In spite of and despite can be used with gerund or noun, not with a complete sentence. But there are some other words that are really helpful. They can also connect our sentences and they can create, again, contrast meanings. Let's see what are they, and they are really useful. And you can use these words to make your English richer and to make your English improve. Let's see. But, still, yet, however, nevertheless, nonetheless. Okay. How we use them? Again, we have two different sentences. Let's see. I studied all night. And the other sentence, I didn't pass. Very interestingly. So this is a very unexpected and unwanted and totally different result. Between two sentences, those two contrast ideas, you can put one of them. I studied all night, but I studied all night, still I didn't pass. I studied all night, nevertheless I didn't pass. So you don't have to use all the time, although, in spite of. They are conjunctions and they are helpful, so you can make a lot of new sentences by using differently. So by choosing every time different conjunction or connectors. That's why, in my opinion, I really recommend you to learn these information and these important vocabulary, because when you speak in this way, when you write in this way, you will see people care about you and care about your English, and people will appreciate you. So they will think that your English is much better than the others. In other videos, I'm gonna show you some other conjunctions and connectors, but today, in this video, I wanted to show you just to make contrast. That's all from me today. Hope to see you in the next lesson.